It was every emotion. We were so excited. It was a weird, overwhelming feeling that this was ours. Terrified, because what did we just do? This was like a huge responsibility, not only financially for us, but we know we have to do this justice, and we know that there's a lot of eyes on us. We want to do things right here.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Chelsea. We're with Cruwood Home. Welcome to the Auker Mansion. So the Auker Mansion's in Grand Blanc. We both grew up here. My parents lived 2 miles down the road. They still do. We drove by every day, past the gates. And it's always been a mystery in the community. What's behind the gates? The rumors behind some of the mysteries have always been, is the house haunted? The wild animals that have been here, wild cats, and are there any hidden rooms?
Very disappointing, no. There are no hidden rooms.
That we've found yet.
None.
So here is a rumor we can confirm. Not haunted, but there's a tiger cage.
How did you guys meet?
Oh boy.
We both went to Grand Blanc. She was a grade older than me, so we kind of knew of each other.
We had mutual
in high school.
friends.
A lot of mutual friends.
He played soccer. I was friends with the older soccer kids, so I always watched him play soccer. But then we reconnected. Again, it was mutual friends. We were out. I was the maid of honor in my best friend's wedding that weekend, and he just randomly said, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I said, "Oh, I'm in a wedding." And he said, "Oh, do you have a date?" I said, "No." And he said, "Can I go?" And I was like, "What?" And we like joked the whole day getting ready. It was like, "What did you end up with this guy?" Then he was there.
Yeah. I can.
And it's 10 years later.
I can work in a wedding.
He was like the talk and life of the party, and everyone kept calling him my mystery date. It was funny.
We're not married. I have a son, and Chelsea has known him since he was like 1.5. She is stepmom for sure.
I claim him.
Yeah, she does claim him. That's kind of us. We're
Unconventional
for sure, but
We're building this life together that we're pretty happy with.
You don't have a background in construction and design.
not really, no.
What is your background in?
Finance. I did grow up wanting to be an architect. It was always an interest of mine. The actual work that architects put in and do was beyond what I was able to do. So getting into CAD and doing all that stuff, I realized being an architect wasn't for me. I like the fun part of designing something, building it, and then seeing it at the end, which architects don't always get to do. We kind of started construction on a need-based, 22 years old, and had no money with a child and needed a place to live. So we bought a rundown house. We knew it was in a really good neighborhood. We just kind of fixed it up as we could and made some money. Every 2 years, we'd live in our projects. It would be a disaster for a year, be really pretty for a year, and then we would sell it and start over again. Basically, a couple years ago, we were able to separate living and working, but we were able to buy a house and then buy a project house. So this is only our second project house that we will not live in.
I have a business degree in marketing. I've always had more of a creative mind. I was a hairstylist for 12 years, and I'm a real estate agent. I got my real estate license kind of out of necessity also, that we were turning out properties and I was over involved. We loved our agent 100%, but we weren't her only client.
Yeah.
And we were doing enough that it made sense that I just got into it for us. It's been really great.
It allows you a lot of freedom to be able to be on site.
It does, yeah.
And coordinate with people, but
Yeah.
also have a lot of resources for when you do real estate.
Yeah, definitely. We've always done larger scale projects. It's always been like a little over our head, but like in the best way possible. The last project we did was a fully burnt down house that we rebuilt.
6,000 finished square feet.
Yeah, it was a big one, but obviously this is bigger. So
We first realized it was for sale probably 2019, 2018. When we first approached it, it had probably been for sale for a couple of years. We approached it originally in 2020. It's kind of been the legend of the place is because he was a huge builder in the area, the production builder of his time. Always had a lot of really great ideas and really great innovations when it came to building. The house was built in 1971 by Eldon Auker. It was added on to in 1987. He added on his main bedroom suite.
and the bedroom was as large as the average American home, about 3,000 square feet. That included a sitting room, the sleeping area, and 3 full baths.
In 1993, I believe he died, and a family purchased it, lived in there until 2020. A gentleman from out of state bought it, and then we came in 2022. The original approach to this house, we had been pursuing either a new build or a historic renovation for the purpose of a wedding venue. It's kind of been our focus for 5 or 6 years. We saw the potential for the property with the 50 acres and the ponds, and the bedroom could become a ballroom and all of those things. It was just the matter of how much stuff will we have to do to this house to make it commercial. There's a lot of lighting and parking and elevators, sprinklers, and all types of stuff that You may not realize going to a commercial building that's different than a residential building.
It just wasn't going to happen here.
Yeah, it was the cost to put it in and the fight that we would have to go through wasn't going to happen. So we had to kind of make that shift to realize that this wasn't going to be a feasible property to become a commercial wedding venue in the way that we wanted it to. So we figured we would just go for a renovation. So yeah, it was a hard turn from when we kind of reapproached it in 2023 to when we actually got an accepted offer. We were still, I'd say 80% house, 20% wedding venue. We just kind of shifted and decided just keep it a house, keep it a family home, and renovate it to the best of our abilities.
It was still definitely an opportunity that we wanted to take.
Correct. We made the offer for the house in April or May 2023. It was a very long closing process, and eventually we took possession September 15th of 2023.
We honestly never thought it was a great idea. We knew it was going to be a giant challenge and awful.
We saw it once with the previous time it was listed in 2020. We did walk through it then. We walked through it again after we offered, but we basically did make the offer sight unseen. We hadn't seen the house in 2 or 3 years. We had no idea the condition of it. We had known that some renovations had been done and not completed, but we basically got a pass or fail inspection that we did ourselves.
We walked through in July of 2023.
We knew that it was going to be a disaster, so we just accepted that and realized that we were going to buy it regardless of the condition of the house.
I think we took a good week of walking around and planning. It was very overwhelming. We knew we were going to be overwhelmed with it. I mean, it's 20,000 square feet.
Yeah,
so
we had lots of pictures and rough measurements to kind of get a plan going in that 6-month closing period. Then we would get in the house and the kitchen measurements would be off. We'd have to shift this, and we had an idea. And then we got in and everything changed, just thrown away, and we had to start over again. And the stuff was all here still. We had to figure out how some of these priceless antiques were gonna get out of the way of demo crews coming through and electricians trying to do their job. We didn't want to ruin anything, but we had to move it, we had to sell some of it, we had to figure out the plan with everything besides just the renovation to get it to a space where we could renovate it.
There were a lot more layers to this one just to get going.
Financially, to do this is a lot of lending being involved, and with the lending on this scale, there are timelines, there's a lot of interest that's involved. You have to figure out a way to sell this house. We've kind of ran into all of our pitfalls that we could have ran into so far with the renovation. The electrical was a huge hit that we did not expect to have. A lot of the framing issues were a huge hit that we didn't expect to do, but we're kind of past that point. It's now becoming finding an end user for the house is really the biggest unknown.
And we definitely weighed all that before we took this on and did this. We ran through worst case scenarios and what that means, and our purchase price and our renovation costs and the interest on top of that, and what our sale price is at the end, and then how much leniency we have in between there, and what is our bailout price.
There's a certain point where money and time will meet, and then that price will have to come down. We basically started with a very, very small budget and have kind of flipped ourselves to here. And then we are extremely leveraged in order to afford it, and everything is draws, and we had to put money down to get the house, and then we have to pay for the renovations up front, and we get reimbursed 50% of them. It's like a hard money mixed with commercial, mixed with a conventional loan, but it was very creative. No one wanted to touch this one. This one was a bank's nightmare. We went to personal people where people are like, oh, I know a guy who does this thing. But yeah, essentially we've saved, lived outside of our means until we sell a house, and then we're good.
We start all over?
And then we start all over and pour all the money back into it. We've never actually seen the money from all the flips. They've all gone directly into another project. So kept our own jobs, our 9-to-5s, lived off of that, used everything as a flip for extra.
We take on properties that are extremely difficult and they're higher investment, but they're higher return. We work really, really well together. We always have through these. I think we are really good at talking through things. We have a very similar eye for things and style. We're on the same page, and it's really the nitty gritty that we have to talk through. And
I will drill down so far. She'll check out. That would be the only time that there's friction is like when there's deadlines. We are ordering cabinets. This layout does have to be finalized. We have to get electricians where these lights are going tomorrow. You can't necessarily check out.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's shared pants, but it defaults to Corey. I would say that, and I'm very comfortable with that. I lean on him for a lot of final decisions, and I'm happy along for the ride, and I'm very content and okay with that, and he is a lot more opinionated. We do discuss and do pretty much everything together. We are an odd couple that enjoy spending every waking moment together, but and working together.
Well, you're also drawing up the plans.
Yeah.
Like, in your brain is literally like a map.
I like the 2D plans, the 3D plans. I can kind of see a space when I walk into it.
The couple that bought our last project were here for one of our sales at this house, and they were looking at a piece, and they said something about, like, I wonder if that will fit in our bar space. I don't know how long we'll have to measure it. And he could tell you right now.
It's 86 inches, yeah.
See? So it's not like he like dumps that information after a project. It's just there forever.
I've always enjoyed building things or planning. Planning, I think, is more fun to me than actually doing them. The kind of what ifs, the plans,
And he does that when we're in between projects. All I have to do is like, that would be an interesting one to do. And all of a sudden he spends the next 3 days, the plans are done. And it's like, okay, I can't do that.
Are there any hidden rooms?
Corey says no. I'm convinced there's hidden rooms.
To be fair, there are no plans or blueprints that we are aware of for this house.
We pulled a FOIA request with the township and there's nothing.
There's always a possibility that there could be a hidden room somewhere. I have not found it.
There's still panels that like we haven't taken off, and there's an area that the township said that there's a basement under, but it looks like a crawl space. I don't know. I'm convinced that we're gonna find something by the end of the project.
There's nothing there.
Is it haunted?
No, it's not haunted. We have been here late, all hours of the day and night by ourselves. I think once you take the mystery out of it and strip back the layers, we work with the materials. It's really just tangible materials. So
I've never felt anything.
no, I've not felt any creepiness here at all. So sorry to debunk that one.
Are both of your families involved in the renovation?
We have extremely supportive families and parents. Both of them
absolutely.
are in Grand Blanc. We are very, very lucky. I mean, in helping with our son, both sets of our parents. And we have a great support system. So my mom was here actually just the other day cleaning out some closets for us. In one of the top shelves, there was one single floor plan, and she got excited and brought it out to us thinking that she found plans to this house. And as she was unrolling it, we realized it wasn't this house, but it was actually the house I grew up in. So my parents' house. So we both grew up in Grand Blanc. My parents live down the street now, but I was actually born and raised in an Auker built home just down the street from here also. Very meant to be, it felt. Again, there was just one single blueprint and it was mine.
That was the one that was here.
Yeah.
What's the timeline? We're aiming for when to sell?
We're saying this year because we don't want to target ourselves
you're not
publicly.
targeting.
Hopefully
End of this year.
fall.
Yeah, we're saying fall, end of this year.
What are you hoping when you sell this estate?
Time frame is important financially, and the holding costs on this are a lot for us. But yeah, we want someone to enjoy this and appreciate what we did here in the story and do something special and enjoy it. We really want someone to be happy here.
That shot of you guys opening the gate and he throws you the keys. Are you feeling excited in that moment? Are you like, oh, what did we do?
It was every emotion. We were so excited. It was a weird, overwhelming feeling that this was ours. We sat in that for a while, terrified because what did we just do? This was like a huge responsibility, not only financially for us, but we know we have to do this justice and we know that there's a lot of eyes on us. We want to do things right here.
I was definitely...
You were ready to go.
I was ready to go.
He was ready to go 3 years before, 6 months before. Like, let's go, get the keys, let's move. We decided to document everything we have going on here because I feel like we have something special. This is a once-in-a-lifetime project for us, definitely. We want to share it.
I think that this is the kind of thing that I would want to watch. So I feel like if we could be informative and also have people see this really, really cool house get remodeled, I think that that's something that I would want to see.
I'm Chelsie.
I'm Corey.
We're Cruwood Home.
And welcome to the Auker Mansion.
We do feel a tremendous responsibility to share this process with the community. We understand that everyone feels kind of an ownership over this property. Mr. Auker built it. Mr. Auker built most of Grand Blanc. We know everyone has a story about him or the house. It's not possible to bring everyone through liability-wise and time-wise. We know that's kind of a disappointment to a lot of people. So the best thing we could think of was share the process with everyone on social media, take everyone through every step of what we're doing here, the good, the bad, the ugly from the beginning, and finally share the afters.